No, I needed some time before I filmed this video because it felt like Chelsea lost the Champions League. I needed to step back and think about this in a, non-biased way and talk about the final without my feelings. I still have a little hurt, but I'm still gonna do the video anyways. But don't we all love a Chelsea versus a Liverpool matchup? We got one this season early in the Premier League, sorry, and it was 2-2 at the end. It was amazing. Like, it was high intense football from end to end. Both had loads of chances, both didn't convert them, and at the end they walked away with a draw, which was deserved on both sides. So coming into this final, I was not expecting less. I was not expecting anything different. I wanted the same type of football, the same outcome. And contrary to my title about the game being boring, it was not. I just needed a clickbait. I hope it works. But yeah, great matchup. Now, check out my previous videos. I talked about the Champions League round of 16 first leg. Go and watch those videos, and when you're done, you can come back to this, or you can watch this and then go watch those. I'm not telling you what to do. Now let's get right into it. I'm gonna start off with Chelsea. Now again, not a big game. There's no Lukaku, and I single him out because he's the £100 million man who was brought in to get the goals, to get the assists, to do all the... Now, speaking of Lukaku, he's brought in £100 man, to the goals, the assists. He was the missing puzzle of the Chelsea piece, and he was dropped again. And to my surprise, it was no surprise. That made sense, right? Anyways, speaking of big player who is supposed to campaign the team to these finals and do the things that we all want them to do, Kai Havertz. Now, if you came here for me to say anything else, I'm not. Kai Havertz is good. He's a great player. He's amazing. He has so much ahead of him. He's so young. Talent is there. I'm sorry if he came for something else, you won't hear it from me. He was good. And these are the games he tends to turn up into, and these are the games he puts on the show and the performances that we want. Does he do it consistently in the Premier League and rack up assists and goals? And no. But he's a good player who contributes to the team on the big stages, and that's a good player to have in any condition we want to think of. He had 5 big chances created, and none of them were put behind the net. And this moves into my next point about the missed chances. This is what caused, well, one of the reasons why Chelsea lost the Carabao Cup. Mason Mount and Christian Pulisic were put onto some beautiful passes, some beautiful setups, some beautiful moments in front of goal, and they amounted to nothing. And I don't want to single them out to be hateful or rude, but I single them out to say that in these big moments, you get one chance, you put that chance away, because it may never come again, or the game might go into, you can lose. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I was so upset because Mason Mount this season hasn't been his best self. He has the goals and assists better than last season, but his fatigue and his mental playing with him and all of that stuff, coming back from being out, it wasn't a good performance. It wasn't a great final from him. He had good moments before coming into this. As I said, not his best season, but he gave a great performance before, and this was just a letdown. This reminded me of the FA Cup versus Leicester. Anyways, Christian Pulisic, he is always in the box. He knows the timing of everything. He knows how to capitalize off running behind. I saw a lot of that, but he just couldn't get it done. And I'm not singling him to be hateful, but I'm just saying these are the moments that caused Chelsea to lose. This is the biggest reason why they lost, the refereeing. As I mentioned before, people had singled out AFCON and made it seem like, wow, they are so awful, what are they doing? And if you watched this game, it was disgraceful. There were supposed to be 2 red cards, about 500 yellow cards. The fouls being called on the opposition side when they were the one who initiated the fouls. The offside rule being measured by your hand, your nose, your eyes, your ears, your shadow. And it was tiring because these are elite officials who are at the highest pinnacle of football and they're getting it wrong. And you question yourself to say, I don't know any more than them. Do I know the rules to like the back of my hand? No, but it took anybody to see that they made some very wrong decisions, and this final would have gone so way different without the refereeing today. And I think the Premier League needs to think about international referees because they were awful in this. But yeah, to end off with Chelsea, this is a Chelsea that we saw in the Champions League run. That run wasn't any luck. That build-up, that final that they won wasn't any luck. That was hard work, and we saw it here. They attacked well, they defended well. Thiago Silva, 37 years of age, and he's coming into the pinnacle of his career. He's just amazing. The middle of the park wasn't so great for them. You know, Kante and Kovacic is not the best midfield pairing, but they did put in a shift. They did make the best of what they had, given that they're the same types of players and they do the same types of things. But yeah, Thomas Tuchel coached a 4-0 win here. He coached a 4-0 win here, and it could have been done, and you'd want to say the missed chances cost them the game. Yes, it did. It did. The game was lost before halftime. That's it. And I wouldn't blame Kepa in the penalty shootout, because the same format was done in the Super Cup, and everybody was, wow, Thomas Tuchel is the best, and he's a genius, and he's this and that, and they applauded it. It didn't work this time, which is fine. Penalty shootouts are not always guaranteed. It's okay. And you say, oh, he conceded all the penalties and missed his, and it's just terrifying. But it is what it is, and if Chelsea had buried those chances before, we wouldn't be here. So it's not his fault. You know, they played well. They could have won this game. You know, this was the most electrifying Chelsea performance in a while. Not the best, but it was good. It was entertaining. And you could see them winning, but they didn't. And it's fine. I'm not mad. I've gotten over it. Now, moving on to Liverpool. As I look on my notes, because you guys don't know, these videos take a lot. I don't just spout opinions. I have to write them down and think if they make sense. And I don't know where this is going, but anyways, I have a lot of negativity here about Liverpool, which is not nice because they were a good team on that date. They fielded the best 11 outside of Alisson not being in the lineup, the Thiago pulling out before the matchup because of an injury, which was sad to see. It was a pretty good team. Like, when you look at that front three, I'm like, I was shocked. Of course, I was scared. They're a super team. Come on, let's not do that. Speaking of the front three, I want to single out Luis Diaz. Pundits have made this thing where they talk about players coming in from overseas and they won't be able to catch up with the intensity of the Premier League. But he looks like he's been here for years. He's gelled well with the team. He's putting on amazing performances. The passes, I mean, the no-look passes were fun. And it was cute for a minute. But I was like, when does it end? And he's like, I'm South American. This is nothing to me. And he has been amazing. And they have a weapon on them that they can unleash. And he was great in this final. I see him dropping deep to play, make him on the wings, giving the defenders also work to do. The style of play, it was just fun to watch him. He's amazing. I'm ranting on about a Liverpool player, which I can't help myself. He's good. What am I to say? Speaking of their other two in the front three, Mane. Now, he missed big chances as well, and this game could have been 4-5, 5-4, whatever. And this is him in finals. He tends to miss a lot of these big moments. And I love how he doesn't let it sunk his game and mess with his head, because we've seen it before in finals where he missed big opportunities and he just keeps going, he keeps playing, and then he has a wonder moment and we're like, wow. Moving on to Salah. Where was he? Because let me say, I must give Alonso this for, locking down Salah for majority of the game. Now, Salah was doing a little bit here and there, but it wasn't enough to give us that spectacular performances he's been giving us week on, week off. And I'm not saying he had a horrible final, don't get me wrong. He had an amazing game. not the best. He could have done more. I was expecting more from him, but the front three, the attack was fluid. It was amazing. Liverpool has one of the best attacks in Europe. They're a good team. They do concede as much as how they score, so that's something that they should be focusing on. Not saying that the defense is bad, because I know people take things out of context, but it was a pretty good matchup, and a lot of the decisions went Liverpool's way. I'm gonna go on a limb and say this. A lot of what happened in this final looked like it was gearing up for a Liverpool win. But hey, I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. But at first when the game ended, I was like, no, you don't deserve to win this. And why? And it's a robbery. But now, having some time passed and thinking about what actually happened, you know, Chelsea has nobody to blame but themselves. Were the calls bad? Yeah. Were the referees a bit edgy with their decisions? Yes. But if they had buried those chances, we would not be here today saying that Liverpool was a robber. Which isn't. Congrats to Liverpool, by the way. Great team. But Chelsea had them going for a minute. Chelsea had them up. And if Chelsea just had come, I don't want to sound rude, but if they had attackers who took it seriously, this game would have been way different. And this is now the 5th consecutive domestic final that they've lost. In which stadium? Wembley. But yeah, great game. Both two amazing coaches who were coached by the godfather of football, Ralph Rangnick. They were amazing. The game was good. You know, both teams had pretty solid teams, and both teams are going on to do better things in the future. And I'd love to see this matchup again in the Champions League. If you know what I'm saying, I'd love to see them go head to head again with better referees and a different momentum, and see what the outcome would be. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the Carabao Cup. Amazing game, amazing competition. You know, when Pep Guardiola and Man City were winning this back to back to back, people are like, nobody cares about the energy drink, nobody watches this. And I think now that he's not in it, people are seeing the importance of it as a domestic trophy. And I think coming in the years, it will be more loved and watched and, you know, anticipated if a lot of the other big teams reach to the final. But yeah, that's me. I kept on talking for so long. Thank you guys for watching again. Don't forget to check out all my other videos. Follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next one.